Hey there, Dion Johnson here, creator of Sovereign Intelligence, founder at Queen School, the Academy for Corporate Catalysts and Change Makers. Also, I'm the author of this book, Influential Woman, A Fresh Approach to Tackling Inequality and Leading Change at Work. So I'm really delighted that you're here watching this video. It's for you. This message is for you if you are a woman in senior leadership, that you are a CEO, a director, a head, a corporate expert, and especially if you have been waking up recently to the realization that, you know what, there is more for me to be, more for me to do, more for me to be saying. You perceive that where you are right now, despite how well you've done, despite the achievements and the accomplishments and the accolades even, you sense within you that there is more for you to be, that you want to shift, you want to change, you want to move, you want to evolve the way that you're showing up as a woman and a leader and a change maker. You sense that the way that you're showing up right now, it might be fine, it might be absolutely fine, no one might be having a problem with it, but you know that you're supposed to be fire. Fine just isn't cutting it. You're supposed to be fire. So today is the beginning of a four-part series, a mini series, very quick videos, where I want to talk to you about the four big objections that I hear over and over again from women like us, women who are hearing the call, feeling the pull to be more in senior leadership, but don't respond, that are not responding. So these four objections, these four, actually, you could call them excuses, but we'll leave that. Um, they're not in any particular order, but I'm going to really be sharing them in order to help you to identify your big objection. I really want to be sharing my thoughts about why, if whichever objection that you find within yourself, why these thoughts, these objections can't keep holding you back from what's calling you, from answering the call that you're feeling rising up within you. I hear these objections all the time, and so let's just jump into number one. Um, the first one is that it doesn't seem realistic. It doesn't seem realistic. Let's face it, that women like us, we're big thinkers, we're dreamers, we are the crazies that Steve Jobs talked about who feel like we could change the world, right? But here's the thing when you're like that, is that sometimes we conceive ideas that can feel way too unrealistic. It can feel like pie in the sky. It can feel like, these dreams, like how could they be? They feel impossible. It feels like it's flying in the face of what's normal, flying in the face of what's usual, what's expected, what has always been done. It's flying in the face of the status quo, and it can feel, can't it, intimidating. It can feel so intimidating to be the carrier of these disruptive or revolutionary or brand new ideas that your industry hasn't even seen yet. I've heard a gazillion reasons and stories about why ideas like this are just ludicrous, that ideas like this just don't make any sense, they just are impossible. I've seen women who carrying these really big ideas. I've seen for many of us that it causes so many of us to be asking, like, who, me? Like little old me, like how could I be doing that? Like that just seems like too much, too big, too unrealistic, too impossible. And I've seen that the narrative that we carry when we have these big dreams and big visions, it can cause us to shrink back. It can cause us to turn a blind eye to the signs that we're being called to step, we're being asked to take a stand. Um, I've seen that we're just plain ignoring. Many times we're just plain ignoring this call. It's like we're sticking our fingers in the ear and say, I'm not listening to this call that's happening on the inside of me. And we're just settling for what is because we're just not sure if it's even possible that what we see could actually be. So This reminds me of a film that I watched years ago about Martin Luther King. Now, Martin Luther King, everybody knows who Martin Luther King is, right? And this film was, I think it was Selma. I'm not sure if it was that version or another film about him. But in this film, there was a scene where he was telling his wife, he was reassuring his wife about how things were going to be for their life. He was telling her that everything was gonna be okay. And he was reassuring her like this. He was telling her, baby, we're gonna get ourselves a nice little house in the country. We're gonna have a couple of children, we're gonna pastor our little small in the back and beyond little church. We're gonna raise us some chickens and mind our own business and live our little lives happily ever after. Of course, as we were watching the film, we all know it didn't go that way, right? But it really struck me that Martin Luther King didn't know that he was Martin Luther King, the Martin Luther King who would change our world for centuries after his life. Like, we're still now walking in the work that Martin Luther King did. We're still benefiting from his leadership. He was the one that sparked the civil rights movement, and this is still changing our world today. And I think that speaks really powerfully to a truth that we can often barely recognize the magnitude of our destiny, about what's in store for us, about who we're becoming, about what we'll do in the world. We can hardly see it. I remember very, very recently, I was at a conference, a women's leadership conference, and we were doing some work around leader development, and we were asked to engage in processes about vision. And I was all up in this, my stuff. I love doing this work. And I was really engaged, deeply engaged with this process of digging deep into my vision. And it just opened up so vividly for me. I had a picture that I'd seen before, but this time I was seeing it with intricate detail. I was seeing it in Technicolor, and it was a picture of my 100th birthday party. And we were in a garden, a gorgeous, beautiful garden, and there was a celebration happening in honor of my 100th birthday. And it was full of women from all around the world, women who had flown in to help me celebrate, women who had been my clients over the years, the decades from now till I'm 100. And I heard them in their little clusters saying, looking at the caliber of women that were gathered in the room, saying, isn't that so and so who did that big work in science, or who did that big work in education, or who led that thing in that country? And then I heard women telling their stories about how, before I met Dion, I can't even think about where I was before I met Dion. I was asleep, I was just not, I was just plodding along, going through the motions of leadership. And then I met Dion, and everything shifted for me. And I went on to do this work, and I went on to touch those lives, and I went on to build this legacy. Oh, my goodness gracious. Seeing this vision really lit me up, really set a fire, a blaze in, like a fire really shut up in my bones. And I really just connected with the large magnitude of my vision. And on the way home, I was reflecting on just how far away that vision feels sometimes from where I am right now. Like, there's tension between where I am right now and that vision. I feel like sometimes that's our story, is that there is tension between where you are right now and the grandeur of that thing that you want to see come to pass, that change that you want to lead, that you want to become. There can be such tension between where you are right now and the big vision, can't there? But here's the thing. When I was on the train on the way home, I kept talking to myself about how real this is, about how I choose to believe, about how I choose to hold on to this belief because I know it's going to come to pass, that I'm seeing it because it's real, because it's coming. So if this objection that your belief, your goals, your the thing that you're aspiring to is just too lofty, too unrealistic, too impossible, I want you to know some stuff. I want you to know, first of all, you are not alone. That even the most significant, those that dare to live and lead monumental things in our world, those significant difference makers, they feel this way too. That you're not alone, that we feel this way when even when we were born to do great things. I love what Buckminster Fuller says. He says that there is nothing in a caterpillar that can tell you as you look at it that it's going to be a butterfly. And what he's alluding to is that our true capacity and our true brilliance can often be totally invisible to us in the here and now. That just like the caterpillar doesn't look like a butterfly, and when it's a butterfly, it doesn't look anything like the caterpillar that it was. That's how, like, it can be night and day difference between here and there. That what we are becoming, who we are becoming, what the work that's developing under our leadership, we can't fully see it yet in the here and now. And so I'm making this video to invite you today. You're being invited to realize that you don't need to know all the details. You don't need to know how it all unfolds. You don't need to know the real path, and you don't need to have all your ducks in a row from where you are right now to the you that you're becoming. You don't even have to see it all. You just need to love yourself enough to pay attention to the call, to the disquiet, to the dis-ease, to the angst that is stirring on the inside of you to say, we want to see this. We want this to happen. Your call to lead this change. Your voice matters when it comes to creating this shift. It's time for you to hear this and take heed and to respond, even if it doesn't feel realistically, even if it doesn't feel realistic, and even if it feels like pie in the sky. I want you to search your heart today. I want you to see if there's any part of you that's unconvinced that you have that your vision is valid, that your vision is is realistic enough that it can come to pass and it will come to pass. The very nature of you holding this vision, the very nature of you conceiving this idea is evidence that it wants to come to pass, that you're the woman for the job, that your industry can be radically different because of your leadership. I want you to know that you are not alone. I want you to remember Martin Luther King. I want you to connect with me. You see, I am leading an uprising of an influential new breed of women in senior leadership. And when you draw closer, well, we're promising to see you. We're promising to hold your vision, no matter how lofty. We're promising to hold that thing sacred. We're promising to be holding space for you as you figure this out and you take the steps and you become more of who you need to be to bring that thing to pass. We'll be cheering you on in your mission. We'll be holding space for your evolution, for your ascension, for your stepping into your power to lead this kind of change. And so the invitation is simple. You just draw closer. I'm attaching the link to join my mailing list with this video. And I'm also attaching the link to my diary. If you want to talk now, then now's the time. You book some time into my diary and we'll jump on a call and we're going to explore what this moving towards this unrealistic expectations and goals that you have, how we can make it less so and how we can make it possible. Are you hearing me? Are you with me? Did you find that objection working on the inside of you? If you did, then I want you to realize that it's time for it to go. Let's talk, and I'll speak to you soon. I'll speak to you with the next objection tomorrow.